And going from one revolutionary company to another, we've got Glen Tullman, the 4-time unicorn in digital health, which you obviously have never heard before, since digital health and health IT have never really had unicorns before. Now on his fourth company, Transcarent, which has hit unicorn status last month with a $200 million raise and a plus $1 billion valuation after less than 12 months in existence, just about. And really excited to bring Glen onto the program.
Great to see you as always, and happy to be here today.
Well, thanks a lot. And again, knowing how busy you are, appreciate your time today. Glen, first of all, congratulations on such a successful company in Livongo and the $18 billion sale to Teladoc. That's amazing. And just having been in digital health and biomedical informatics for 30 years, this is the kind of thing that we could have never imagined in 1990, 1995. Now, you just recently raised a $200 million Series C round. Amazing. Congratulations on that. And it's making now Transcarent the fastest growing digital health company to unicorn status to date. And we're talking about history, hundreds of companies, thousands of companies tens of thousands over the lifetime of digital health and biomedical informatics. And in reading the Forbes story in the news about this was done in record time. And I think the audience would love to know what led to the raise and what has led to this continued momentum that you and the team from Transcarent have seen in this self-insured employer market moving to the Transcarent model.
Well, I'll tell you, the raise was actually a little bit unexpected. We planned to do a raise probably in the spring of 2022, but we had an unsolicited offer come in. When I looked at the offer, it was quite a good offer, and I went to the board. The board said, do a market check. So we went out, made a few phone calls, and within a week, we had 4 offers. Frankly, the numbers were getting ridiculously high. So we actually capped the amount of the offer. And I said to people, I don't want you to compete on price. That's not good for the company. It's not good for you. It's not good for future employees, because you can get a valuation so high that when you give people stock options, there's no upside left. So I wanted to cap the size, but was unsolicited. Then we decided to proceed. There was on one of my prior boards, a board member named Ted Phillip. And we had just done, this is years ago, we had just done an IPO. And of course, the bankers come back and say, it's time for a secondary. And in those days, you used to do 100 meetings, if you can imagine that, to get an IPO done. 100 face-to-face meetings. You were exhausted. You come back, and the first thing the bankers say is, hey, let's do a secondary to raise even more money. And so I went around and asked my board, should we do this? And we came to Ted Phillip, and he said, have you ever been to a party where they're passing the appetizers, the hors d'oeuvres? And I said, not quite understanding what he was getting at. I said, of course. He said, do you take one? And I said, well, I always take one. And he said, why do you take one? And I said, well, I don't know when the hors d'oeuvres are coming around again. And he said, right now they're passing the hors d'oeuvres, and you should take one. So if they're offering you an opportunity to raise more money, you should do that. Based on that advice, we went forward, we did a secondary, and not long thereafter, if you remember, because you and I were there, the internet collapsed. Virtually every company, many went under, and we were flush with cash. So what I learned from that is when they're passing the hors d'oeuvres, you take one. We had an opportunity to raise money at a very substantial valuation, and we decided to do it. Now I look back at that and I say, I'm glad we did, because now we have the money. And, it's interesting. In today's world, many people don't understand this, but the opportunity to raise money, the opportunity to do an IPO is really more than just money. First and foremost, it's a branding event. So you get your name out in a very big way. Everybody writes about it. People hear about it. That fuels this continued interest. Second, you have an opportunity to define your category. And, we're building something very new, different, and better than what existed before, a health and care experience, not a product, not a service. So we were able to define that and explain that. Third, you get the money, and that's good. And fourth, you get a currency. And that currency allows you to do acquisitions and things you may want to do. So it's much more than just, a Series C fundraising. It's a comprehensive offering. And if you're able to take advantage of it that way, it's a very important thing to do. So we were able to check all the boxes to get a very solid but fair valuation, gave us a lot of room for upside and growth. And we took advantage of the timing. So that's, I think, what happened, why we did it. Number one, why you want to do that. And of course, the opportunity that gives us in the future, which fuels that interest and that momentum.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case here. One of the things that has really stuck with us at Columbia and the business school program that you lecture in every semester and really light up a lot of the executives that are in that program was that you did say that these years, the last 2 years, the next 2 years, who knows when the music's going to stop in this musical chairs that we're in, are building the next 25 years for the U.S. healthcare delivery system. And one of the things I noticed in looking through the filings was that some of the major U.S. health systems like Northwell, Intermountain, Rush, they came on in this round as investors, which is really impressive. You don't see that very often. What was behind that, and why are they being drawn to this new healthcare delivery model that you guys are building?
Well, first and foremost, a big thank you to those health systems. They're the innovators, they're the leaders, they're out there in front. And what they're embracing is this vision that we've built at Transcarent to basically say that there's really two sides of this equation that are important. There's all of us as health consumers. We're the ones who actually pay for care, and the employers we work for and with. And so those are the two payers, if you really think about it, us. And increasingly, we're paying a higher and higher percentage. When you look at our premiums and then the co-pays and co-insurance, I think we're up to about 40% of the total cost of healthcare that we're paying for, and our employers. And both of us, frankly, are not happy with where we are today relative to the experience, the quality and also the cost. But on one side, that's who we are. Second, who do we actually need? The other side that we need are, in fact, the providers, the health systems, because they do the surgeries. They have the doctors and nurses and caregivers that help us. So that's who we need on the other side. But if you think about where wealth is being created in our new economy today, it's those organizations who figure out how to collapse the middle. And the middle in healthcare, think about it. That's where the friction is. That's where the claims denials are. That's where the bills come in. And so our goal is to connect the two sides that matter, health consumers and health providers. And I think that Northwell and Intermountain and Rush are all visionary, and they say we need a new kind of system that connects us much more directly to the people who are consuming the care, not to a third party. And think about where we've created massive value in the economy. Travelocity. So Travelocity said, we can go directly to the people who are flying, who are actually using our services, and we can eliminate the travel agent. And they did that. They gave people unbiased information, trusted guidance, and made it really easy to book a ticket. So that was amazing, and everybody embraced Travelocity. In fact, for a period of time, even the travel agents used it because it was so easy. The information was so good and so comprehensive. Fast forward to Airbnb. It connects you to the people who are actually renting the place. Uber connects you right to the driver, and on and on and on. And this is personalized information that allows you to make better decisions, makes it easier. We've been missing that in healthcare. And so we're now creating that. And some of the leading healthcare systems across the country are saying this is the future. It's us connected very directly to the health consumer. And that's you and me and our families, Sam. And so they've seen that vision, really visionary leaders leading each of those organizations. And I just couldn't be prouder to be associated with them. And remember the other thing that we do. We always talk about being different. Well, if you're a health provider, how is Transcarent different? Well, we pay them in advance for the surgery that's being done or for the care that's being delivered. Compare that to them having to fight with payers to get paid. And then you saw the recent lawsuits about payers stretching the providers out for 6 months. And, that's been news recently. We're the opposite side of that. We're someone they love to deal with because we pay them in advance. They know what they're getting paid, and they can focus on doing what we all want them to, which is delivering a high quality care experience, a great surgery, a great visit. And the flip side is we make it easier for you to schedule that. So that's why this is the future of healthcare. That's why they're interested in it. And again, I think that should be a message to everyone in the market to get on board because we're inventing the future of care. By the way, we've seen this happen in PBMs. You and I have talked about it. Think about all the consumer-driven PBMs that are out there today. So the GoodRx's of the world, the Rose of the world, the capsules of the world, and on, the pill packs of the world. That experience is so different. Even Mark Cuban got into the act by launching a PBM. And that's going to happen now in the payer world, except it's 100 times larger. And that's what's fueling the drive, the interest, and the excitement about what we're doing at Transcarent.
That's right. That's fantastic. And for people that don't know, Glen's book, On Our Terms, Empowering the New Health Consumer, he's literally written books about the topic. So he does know a lot about this on top of being a leader in really in the business community for over 30 years now. And it's extraordinary, Glen, just, how much you've been able to accomplish and what a difference you've made in the system. And we're really looking forward to seeing Transcarent revolutionize healthcare delivery in the United States. And again, thank you for the donations of the books today and just all the time that you give to not just the some of the leaders and whatnot in the healthcare system, but to all the different ecosystem stakeholders as well, like HIMSS and certainly Matthew Holt and a lot of the other folks that are out there really trying to ensure that the digital health community understands what your perspective is so that they can build around it, because it's pretty clear that this is where we're going. And again, really appreciate your time today. Know how busy you are. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate all you're doing to shine a light on the future of healthcare. So thank you, Stan. And everyone, thanks for attending the conference. Enjoy the rest of it.
Truly extraordinary and very lucky to have Glen on the program today. And we are at the 2:00 moment, and we don't like to hold you all late. So we're going to wrap up. First of all, we want to make sure that we thank all of our sponsors, like the folks from Medidata. We want to make sure you know about the Women's Health Tech Wednesday that's coming up next week with Nina and Zena, the Nina and Zena show. So be sure to sign up on our Eventbrite page for that. Again, the Columbia program, you've got the discount code there. If it wasn't working for you, please email me at my email, swk16@gsb.columbia.edu. And then again, we want to make sure that Moses is Singer, Goodwin, Persistent, Medidata, and all of our other wonderful sponsors are thanked here. And finally, we want to thank you all for joining us. And most especially, we want to thank the production team who put this together. Not an easy task between the 20 plus speakers, the production, the marketing, and the communications that go out around this. Major thank yous to Jess Jem, Maddie Lazar, Rachel Fredman, Greg Bauer, Prem Srinivasan, Katie Chamberlain, Julia Greenblatt, and our fearless production leader, the captain himself, Jerry Antamato. On behalf of all of them and the rest of the faculty, researchers, and staff and scientists at HITLAB, thank you for joining us, everyone, today. Please do stay safe and take good care. Cheers.